Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. It's also kind of a dog channel, if you haven't figured that out by now, because every day, Boo and Tucker come and join me on this adventure of meditations, don't you guys? He said, yeah, Dad. He goes, are we reading meditations today? We're going to read meditations today. Your dad is on his way home right now. You want to see your daddy? He's on his way home. Okay, so we're going to read some meditations. Come here, buddy. We're going to read some meditations today. Are you ready? He said, I am so ready. Which one do you want to read first? You pick. You pick which one you want. He pointed his nose right to the Daily Book of Positive Quotations by Linda Picone. He loves Linda Picone so much. Where's your brother? Where's Boo Radley? Oh, here he is, right here. Come here, Boo Radley. You want to say hello to everybody? He said, I would love to say hello to everybody, but mostly I would like to go outside and be an adventurer of the world. What's your favorite thing about going outside? He said, I meet new people. You meet new people? He said, people are so nice and friendly. All right, let's get into this meditation today, March 3rd. Can't believe it's March 3rd already. Okay. Nurturing creativity. March 3rd, nurturing creativity. Are you creative, Tucker? He said, I sure am. Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once he grows up. Pablo Picasso. When a child gives us a picture, we ooh and ah and put the picture. My dad always, like with fireworks, he thinks, my dad thinks fireworks are so corny. He always goes, ooh, ah. When a child gives us a picture, we ooh and ah and put the picture on the refrigerator in a place of honor, regardless of how expertly the picture was rendered. The child's delight in creating something is celebrated and reinforced without needless criticism. It would be wonderful if we were just as eager to nurture creativity in ourselves as adults, celebrating the creative act for itself, separately from any judgments about its value or quality. I will compliment others for their creativity instead of trying to come up with reasons why their ideas aren't as good as they might be. I like that. You know, like, I think there's this idea that we shouldn't try something creative because we aren't going to be good at it, which is just such crap, isn't it? It's like, just do something. Like, if you've ever been into, like, you know, like a craft store, like Michael's or whatever, I love walking into those. But I always want to buy, like, latch hooks. And I was even thinking the other day, I was like, so Mel, my book club partner, we have a true crime book club. It's called the True Crime Book Club, in all lowercase with a period at the end. But anyway, I'm going to visit her this weekend, as you know, in Phoenix. And I was thinking, she crochets like crazy. And she made me the sweetest thing. I will show it on here. But she made me this little Pee-Pee, the flying chihuahua, stuffed animal. It's so sweet. She sent me a picture of it. But she's she crochets fantastically. And I was like, well, maybe she could show me how to crochet, you know? And then I could kind of sit here and watch TV and crochet, and it would give me something to do. Plus, I love seeing the things that she makes. She makes scarves and sweaters and shawls for, not for Stevie Nicks, but that would be amazing. But anyway, you know, it's like, I love to go into those craft shops and, like, you know, buy, like, I don't know, like, what do you call them, the painting things, like, the canvases, and, like, get excited about stuff. And, you know, I love photography, and I talked on a vlog recently about how I wanted to start, like, a portrait photography Instagram page, but not let anybody know that it was mine. Like, just, you know, like, put up pictures of things that I found interesting, and just because I love black and white photography, and I love, you know, capturing people just kind of like in the middle of like what they're doing or whatever, you know, just like something like just that, you know. And I was talking about how we had gone to Chuck E. Cheese for my nephew Sebastian's birthday, and I was watching Alex's grandmother, who is 89, and she's fantastic. I love her. And so anyway, we're sitting there, and he's sitting next to his abuela, and she's like in her purse, and she has like this tube of lipstick out that she's like getting ready to put on, and she's just kind of like sitting here. I thought that would be such a fantastic picture, you know? It's like totally capturing her essence of who she is as a person. And so, you know, I think that we should all try creative things. You know, whether you want to write poetry or write a book, or, you know, like, I don't know, a scrapbook, or, you know, I used to love to do mosaic stuff, like with pieces of broken glass. And if you've ever seen the movie One True Thing with Renee Zellweger and Meryl Streep, which is maybe one of the finest movies on the face of the earth, Jeff Bridges is in it. I think it's Jeff Bridges. But anyway, Meryl Streep gets cancer, and it's about like Renee Zellweger's her daughter and her taking care of her and things like that. And there's a part of the movie where she's making this mosaic table, and Meryl Streep is very much like Martha Stewart. Like everything is perfect in her house, right? And there's a reason why she is that way. But this one point, she's making a mosaic table out of broken glass, broken dishes and things like that. And she just keeps it. I thought, oh my God, I love that idea. That's such a fantastic idea, right? But then I would try to purposely start just breaking stuff just so I could make a mosaic table. But I did. I love to do that. You know, I was never good at painting or drawing, even though I took those classes. But I did love doing, like, I think it's called pointiture or whatever, where you do like the little dots. Like, what's his name? Surratt, I think is the artist that did that. I love doing that. I used to do that back in the day, and it was just really fun and relaxing for me. I don't know, maybe that's something I'll try more of this summer, you know? For those of you that watch my vlog, you know that when I was in high school, if you had asked anybody in high school that knew me, they wouldn't have said, oh, you're gonna go into this, or you're gonna go into that, or you'll be this 20 years from now. People would have told you I would have been a fashion designer. I really, really believe that. Like, I made clothes for all my friends. I made a prom dress from one of my closest friends. Mind you, I had to sew her into it, but I made a prom dress from scratch for one of my closest friends. It was gold lame. It was very, very cool. It doesn't sound cool, but it was very cool. And, you know, I made clothes for my friends every single day, and I did all kinds of different stuff on it, you know, and I always thought that I would go into fashion. What are you smelling over there, Bradley? I always thought that I would go into fashion design. And sometimes, you know, like, I follow like Zach Posen, and he's one of my favorite fashion designers. I follow him on Instagram, and I sometimes see the pictures of the gowns, and I still love to read the magazines, and, you know, I read all this stuff, you know, about, you know, I love like couture fashion shows and, you know, atelier houses and things like that, and I watch all these documentaries, and I sometimes wonder, what would my life have been, you know, had I gone down that? And it's never too late to start, you know, I could start that. I say that to Alex all the time. He's always like, well, it's never too late to start, you know? I'm like, well, I guess I could go to like, you know, FIT or Parsons or something like that and start a new career. I totally could, you know, but I don't know. It's not really so much my dream today as it was back then. And I think that's the other thing too, is like, as you grow older, your dream changes, you know, that like, I was like, look at little Boo Radley. He's there and then he's not there. I think as you get older, your dreams change, you know, but I do think that when you talk about left brain and right brain, that tapping into our creativity awakens things and ideas and philosophies in us and thoughts and beliefs that maybe we were not aware of. I think it taps into compassion and love, kindness, and those kinds of things. It taps into all kinds of emotions that we wouldn't normally be aware of because we're not engaging in things creatively. So I think it's important to do those things. So I don't know, what would be something, is there something that you guys do that is really creative? Let me know in the comment section below, and is there something that you would like to start? You should start it right away. All right, next one. Tucker, you want to pick or Boo Radley? Should Boo Radley pick? He picked this one. Oh, it's the Meditations in Balance. He said, I need a lot of that, Dad, because I am out of balance. Okay, March 3rd, Interruptions. I don't know anything about that on these videos with these dogs. Katharine Graham, CEO of the Washington Post Company, to avoid interruptions, prefers to, quote unquote, pay visits to those who work for her. Roger Browner. Browner, who writes for executive newsletters, points out that by taking the initiative to go visit her employees, Browner, who writes for executive newsletters, points out that by taking the initiative to go visit her employees, Graham has an opportunity to gather firsthand information and build strong, more personal relationships with those on her staff. This interactive management style helps prevent the onslaught of interruptions. When we are focused on a task, most of us abhor interruptions. We almost always see interruptions as personal and disrespectful. If we don't see them this way or won't admit this to ourselves, we see them at best as bothersome. Have we ever looked at what we can do to prevent interruptions? Yeah, I can get up earlier and get my stuff done on time. Have we ever looked at what we can do to prevent interruptions or how we contribute to them? For example, a manager who does not want to be interrupted yet talks or barks orders to her staff through an open door and invites interruptions. True. A father who does not explain that he needs some time and space, that is, until he blows up invites interruptions. When we make it clear that we do not want to be interrupted before we start a task, we have a better chance of having our requests respected. Get some do not disturb signs, all caps, to hang on the door. Many hotels and motels will be happy to gift you with some. I love that. You know, it's interesting because I don't think about that much, you know? But I have to say, like, throughout the day, whether it's, you know, a knock on my door from the Census Bureau, or a neighbor, you know, or somebody calling me or texting me. Like, one of the things that always happens is I'll forget to turn down the volume on my computer, and then I'll start filming. This happens actually a lot, and I'll start the video over. That I'll be sitting here and somebody will call me and it'll go through my computer because, you know, anyway, so it'll start ringing through my computer, and then I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know that I still had that, you know, hooked up or whatever. And so I think it's just about planning those things out. I also think that like, it's a little bit like, kind of letting go. You know, I think sometimes we get so distracted by interruptions that we don't really, that we get so distracted by interruptions that sometimes we allow it to just kind of own us and go against the grain instead of just allowing it to kind of be part of the world, you know, and part of our lives. That it's like, okay, this is just part of life. It's not like, take a breath, hit the pause button. It's just not that deep, you know? You don't have to let the entire day be ruined, you know? It's not like it's gonna like ruin your whole day because a dog is scratching on my video. You know? I mean, like, I think back in the day, I used to allow myself to get so just like frustrated and, you know, like, I mean, this is like 10, 15 years ago. I don't borrow that kind of trouble today in my life. I'm just like, okay, you know, especially, okay, like if you're supposed to be somewhere on time, like this is forever me, right? Like I always leave with like the exact, I used to be forever late. I'm not that late anymore. But I always leave with like, if it takes me 15 minutes to get somewhere, I probably leave with 16 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Like I leave like a minute instead of like 10 minutes extra time in case something happens, you know? And then like I get frustrated because I'm like, oh, there's a, you know, something like happens and I'm hitting too many red lights and then I'm late. Well, that's my fault. You know, I should have left 10 minutes early. Like the book said, I should have prepared for it. You know, and you can tell people things and just say like, you know, hey, like, I'm getting ready to, you know, do this or do that. Can you, like, you know, give me some space? Like I said about the dad thing, I think that was, you know, interesting is really we're talking about communication, though, there, right? We're not really talking about interruptions. We're talking about communications with others and letting others know, like, hey, like, I need a little space. I need a moment. I think that's, like, one thing, too. It's like, you know, when Alex and I, when we were in marriage counseling, this was such a vital piece of our, like, counseling that we received. We were talking about, like, arguments and how to get through arguments and not, you know, engage in this constant back and forth, tit for tat that would blow up into these huge arguments, right? What we, you know, learned was that, like, I am somebody that, like, wants to continue to push the issue until it's resolved. That does not work for me with Alex, and it doesn't really work for me anywhere in life, you know? And Alex is somebody that needs space and time. Like, he's like, you know, okay, fine, you said what you said, I said what I said, now give me a half an hour and I'll settle down and I'll think about it. But if you really want to talk about it right now, it's going to blow up into something that I don't really want to have that conversation, right? That's where you're talking about, like, what are we going to do for dinner, and it blows up into World War III. So what we started doing was kind of, oh, I guess you're done. You didn't want to sit there anymore after you did all that? Okay. But you know, what we really learned about each other was not just in arguments, but in communication. That, you know, when Alex walks through the door, he's somebody that he likes to have, you know, put his pajamas on and kind of have a moment to unwind. You know, and I'm somebody that needs to, like, talk and let people know what's going on with me. And we started learning how to communicate better, right? It's like when you talk about the love languages, that each person has different love languages. Well, each person has different communication patterns too, you know? I don't think it would surprise anybody that I'm a talker, that I love to talk. But that doesn't mean that my talking can't wait 20 or 30 minutes, you know what I mean? And that doesn't mean that when Alex comes in the door that maybe at some point, some days, you know, that he's like, hey, tell me about your day, you know? And I tell him about my day and whatever. We have learned, oh my God, how to communicate so much better out of being respectful to the other person's communication patterns. And I think it's really, really important, you know, not to just assume that that person should know. It's like, you know, like, let's say if you're somebody that loves flowers, right? And your husband or wife never brings you flowers. Have you ever told your husband or wife that you like flowers? Maybe they don't know. But we shouldn't just assume that they know that we want flowers, you know? Maybe we say, hey, you know, I don't know if you know this, but, like, I love getting flowers. Like, I think that's a really romantic gesture and it means a lot to me, you know? And then what they do with that is their, you know, thing. But, like, I think we need to communicate more. It's so easy. It really is, you know? I think sometimes, the person that we communicate least with is the person that we should be communicating the most with, which is our partners, our close friends, our family. You know, it's so easy, isn't it, to complain to your best friend about your partner or your family, you know, or to like a coworker, but then go home and just never say anything. Why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we communicating with those people that we need to be communicating with? So anyway, let me know what you think about those meditations in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.